fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the game with the college-branded Venmo debit card. Wrap your team with every tap and earn up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash, a new rewards program from Venmo. No monthly fee, no minimum balance. Just school pride and spending power. Get in the game and sign up for the Venmo debit card at venmo.com/collegecard. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. Select schools available. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply at venmo.me/stash terms. Max $100 cash back per month.
This week on Past Due, we are turning the mic on ourselves.
It's the end of the year, and we thought it was only fair to take stock, not just of the creative economy out there, but of this show, our work, and what it actually costs to make something like Past Due.
If you're a listener, a fan, or a fellow creator trying to piece together your own thing, this is a behind-the-scenes look at what's working, what's not, and why we're still doing it.
The creative economy is broken, but some people are still making it work. We're here to find out how. I'm Anna Marie Cox.
And I'm Open Mike Eagle. And this is Past Due.
How do you guys want to start?
We are gathered here today to pull the curtain back. It's a thin curtain to begin with. We don't keep a lot of curtain around here, you know?
It's gauzy. It's linen.
Right. It's like hospital grade, you know, it's very thin. And we're gonna discuss the finances of this pod that is about discussing people's finances. It's very, very meta. No Zuckerberg.
You can't see our legs. It does have that in common.
It's true. It's true. And it's just the three of us here. So it's also like the metaverse. It's just,
yeah.
But I don't know how exactly we should start the conversation, but that's what the conversation is.
Well, I think a good place to start would be with just the mechanics of the podcast. Let's just go, well, actually, we could ask each other the question that we ask our guests. Mike.
Well, and also, you know what? You know what we should do, though?
What?
We should introduce the people to Andrew because they don't know him.
That's right.
He's such a part of their lives, but they have no idea.
Hi.
Andrew is our producer, and he is a equal part of this endeavor. One of the things that I think we decided straight off is that we're co-equals in this production. And Andrew does a lot to keep this ship upright. I think he makes it very easy for me and Mike. So, Mike, what do we want to ask him what he does, or can we list? I think we can't even list like all the things he does behind the scenes.
We would exhaust ourselves in listing things, and then he would still probably have 5 to 7 more things.
Not true.
That he does that we're not even aware of.
All right, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say I have the best job where I get to listen to two of my favorite people talk all the time, and while we were getting started here, I was just singing Mike's praise, and I didn't get the chance to sing your praise on it. But truthfully, like, I would work on this show if all I got paid for was just to be a fly on the wall in a lot of these conversations. I really just appreciated being here for many of the episodes.
Okay, well, here's actually a good chance to like get into the meat of the show, which is appreciate you saying that. But the fact is, even though we've decided to split all profits equally, you would make a lot more money if we were paying you legitimately for your time, like your billable rate.
Right. If we were paying by the hour.
I mean, so would you all, too. But yes, thank you. I mean, yes. So what I do is I record episodes. I help with scheduling. I manage the social media and the Patreon when I have free time, make the video clips. And
edit the show. That's a huge lift. I feel like it's editing the show.
And you deal with the advertiser side of it
Yes,
so that
yes.
Mike and I don't have to deal with it. You make it really easy for us to do this show. And that's why I do want us to answer the question that we ask our guests. And I'll go first. So when's the last time I worried about making my monthly expenses? And that was yesterday. Yeah, full disclosure. Like I think sometimes about how much we're going to reveal about our own finances, but I know we're all hand to mouth these days. It's not even paycheck to paycheck, right? Because we don't have paychecks. Like it's I'm putting together from my other podcast, I have a little bit, my workshops I have a little bit, my freelance I have a little bit, and that's, you know, that's what I'm getting by on. Occasionally like windfalls of some kind or another. But yeah. Now y'all go.
Okay. For me, the last time I was truly worried was like June, because and when June came, it ended about, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 month period of being incredibly worried every month.
Yeah.
Having to scrape money together in ways that were harrowing and for some months in that span. And most of that was because I had sort of tied my future up in a television project that ended up getting shelved.
Yeah.
So I was trying to not take on a bunch of stuff because it seemed like such a sure thing. We had sold it. We had a amazing production company attached with a hot producer, and you know, everything was going so smoothly, and then it just hit a wall, and I just hadn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
And so I spent the latter half of 2024 desperately looking for a job. And I remember we talked about that quite a bit when we first started the show, and kept running into, you know, no success on that front at all. So I sort of looked around and was like, okay, what can I do with the resources and experience I do have? And I decided, you know, in like January, I needed to tour a lot. So a lot of the touring that I've done, opening up, especially for bigger acts like Future Islands and Fantagram this year, was based on just me having relationships with people and asking, you know what I'm saying? Like, in ways that I think previously I would have thought that I was too established to be in that position. But luckily, those acts were amenable to having me along and felt like it was a good idea, and it was successful. And so I did that first run this year with Future Islands in May. And like, while I was on that tour, like I went from like, when the tour started, like I was worried I didn't have enough money to like get my merch to the first stop. But then like a week through the tour, I'm like, okay, I have some breathing room. And then by the end of it, okay, I had enough to get me I had enough for me to finish my album. And putting that out created, you know, basically the rest of my year. And then I was able to go on that tour with Fantagram that sort of gave me a little bit of cushion. And so now where I am, I had that cushion, but I'm like in this dance right now of trying to make sure I never fall back below a certain point. But my life is too expensive.
Yeah.
For a single guy renting a 2-bedroom house in Los Angeles with a big giant backyard. It's too much money every month. And so I feel like my money just flies out of the window. I have a lot of people I have to pay. My manager, my business manager, my booking agents, the people who manufacture and fulfill my merch. Like, this stuff gets split a lot of ways. And there was something else I was going to say that I don't remember. Maybe it'll come back to me. But I think that's about the state of things for now. And if that thing comes back to me, then I'll interject while somebody else is talking in a very rude way.
And Andrew, what about you?
For me, I think kind of similar to Mike, I would say that November was the last time I was worried, but in February, I'm going to start worrying again. Just the nature of sort of creative work is oftentimes we get paid in one big lump sum for work we had already been doing. for me specifically, I had a couple of really great jobs for the past few years that all sort of ended at the end of
Yeah.
last year.
We shared one.
We
Yeah.
shared one, and then I broke my shoulder,
Mm.
and right after the fires were in LA, and working in entertainment, that was also like everyone was just like, are we still going to even like make anything in LA anymore? And so basically from January to November, I didn't make, I mean, I made hundreds of dollars, and
Yeah.
was very grateful that I have a partner who works,
Mm.
that I had a very meager retirement savings that I could take money out of and just sort of float myself until this work came in. I mean, and I think this is something we've touched base on too, is sort of doing contract or freelance work or creative work is, I took on a project and invoiced them, and it was, I think, 90 days after the invoice is when I was going to get paid, and they were like a month late to pay it.
Jesus.
And they're a huge corporation, and it touches 12 different people, and so like I am understanding of that. They don't want to accidentally pay too much or pay the wrong person, but yeah, I'm okay. I'm grateful that they came in now. I'm feeling fine, but yeah, in a couple months I'll be back to sort of waiting, hoping that one of these new opportunities will pick up, and I'll be waiting for another big lump sum. But yeah, it's kind of every other month, I would say.
Yeah.
I did remember the thing.
Oh.
So sorry to jump in again, but I do think it's important in a discussion of my finances to let people know that, like, okay, so I sort of talked about the things that brought me windfalls. I like that you used that term earlier on, a windfall. But every month, my personal Patreon, my YouTube, my Twitch, like those three things are usually enough to cover my rent.
Mm.
But it necessitates a constant amount of hustle to keep those numbers where they are. To never miss a Twitch stream, to make sure I'm always looking to put content on YouTube, to be advertising and bringing people to my Patreon, because there's always attrition there too. So the windfall is, it's those big things, albums or tours, but there's the constant song and dance of keeping that basic money coming in from those three buckets.
Yeah. And I can get emotional about this thinking about it right now. Like, I just don't know. January. I mean, actually, I had this crazy thing happen that I guess it's a windfall. It's typical. So I went out to check my paper mail, right? Which I actually just don't do very often because it's all junk, right? And there was a letter from a private investigator firm that was like, you have unclaimed money, send us this form and we'll collect 15% and you get the rest. And I looked it up, of course, and there was a thread on Reddit about the exact same company. And the company's legit, but the responses were, you don't need to go through them. Just Google or just go through the state. Like, look at places you've lived and use unclaimed funds. They usually have a website. So I went to Minnesota and looked at unclaimed funds, and it looks like I have a few $1,000s in unclaimed funds. And get this, at least some of them are from residuals from when I was in downsizing 10 years ago.
Wow.
So SAG-AFTRA fucking saved my ass. And I've talked to people about this. Like, I got a good contract. Like, I'm just in one scene. Like, I play a talking head. I'm basically playing myself. But I guess it's a significant enough speaking part that, like, I still get like $20 every once in a, like quarterly, about $20 from people like downloading it and watching it in Europe or whatever. And yeah, I mean, that's going to, get me through January if that money comes through.
Just a point of process on that. Like, do you have to, so SAG already paid that money and it's just unclaimed?
It's just unclaimed. So, it went to my old, so what happened, I'm pretty sure in all this, I think it's my unclaimed money. I think it's my last paycheck from The Guardian when I worked at The Guardian. plus, and it's all from 2014, which is when I moved in with my ex-husband. So
these are like paper checks that were sent to the address and just nobody picked up.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was asking about it because.
And the fact that I didn't miss them, I was getting married, I was marrying a rich guy. Like, I guess I mean, it sounds crazy that I missed a few $1,000s of money. I would never miss it today, but I did.
Like, because I'm in SAG, right?
Right.
And so I have to pay dues that I feel like are very expensive to get not a lot of money back because I don't work a lot.
I'm not in SAG. They just negotiated the contract.
Got you. I see.
For this movie. So because they negotiated the contract and I have like a significant enough part that like, I'm not just I don't just like walk on screen and walk off. Like it's a scene. It's like a full scene in the movie. And I guess, yeah, I got, like enough from, that's when it came out. And like, it's a Matt Damon movie. It didn't do great, but, and
I remember it. I never saw it, but I remember. When it came out.
And it's, someone on the casting team just liked my MSNBC appearances. So like, I thought maybe I'd lead more stuff. Like I'd be like the Jake Tapper's always in this shit. But no. And so that, and also I have like expenses I haven't filed, and I have a last bit. Also, what got me through this past year is the insurance claim for this house when it flooded. Because what I did was like, I didn't cheat exactly, but I overestimated, or I was honest with my living expenses to my insurance company, knowing that I might wind up paying a larger premium, but just for the time being, like they paid my living expenses when I had to move out of the house. So that's what I lived on. And that doesn't count as income. Woohoo!
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I borrowed like $12,000 also this year, like took out a personal loan for $12,000. And, I'm using that cash to pay the loan back, which is like not necessarily super smart financial management. But all this money stuff is overwhelming, like I have. Yeah. I mean, well, I'm really bad at filing expenses.
Same.
I sold a magazine article that wound up being really hard for me to write personally. And then my magazine editor got laid off. And so the piece just kind of got lost. And they said they still wanted it, but because like I didn't have a relationship. So that piece was for $2 a word, which is like incredible money and would pay for my living expenses for a month and some. That I've just like, that piece is just like kind of dropped off the face of the earth. So, I mean, I think the three of us are really accurate pictures of what it's like to be a quote unquote successful. Like we're all like, in our fields. Like I think people trust us, like us, see us around, and behind the scenes, it's, like if I let myself, like I said, I can get emotional about it because it's just, and in some ways, like, I don't know about you, Mike, talking about your house, but I feel kind of, if I let myself think negatively about it, I feel trapped. I can't sell it. It's too expensive. It would be expensive to move. I think about that a lot.
I mean, same here.
I've been living here for 5 years. Like I have a lot of shit,
Oh, I've
downsizing, ironically.
Yeah. I've been giving away so much shit the last few months. And I don't know, I feel like I'm, there's some part of me that's like trying to prepare. My son just turned 17. He'll be 18 next year. He's got grand plans of moving out of the state. And so I'm like, I can't continue to pay for this if like so there's some part of me that's wanting to get out of this situation, but there's a lot of emotional things that I feel like I am grappling with, because the smart thing to do, I could have moved out of here 2 years ago if I wanted to. Like that would have been the logical thing to do. But I think that like I maybe it's just because of my personal history, I have like some emotional baggage around moving too. Like every time I have to move, I feel like it's like a defeat.
I mean, I was just going to say too, like, I think hearing both of you talk about that stuff, I was very lucky that I have a girlfriend who has a job. like there's something we kind of talk a little about when our partners work, how that can be so beneficial. Because had she not worked, I would have had to, like, I couldn't afford to, like, I would have had to move in with probably with family, which isn't the most fun thing to do, or depending on the family, I guess. But it's just sort of like moving is such a huge, like you said, feeling of being trapped, because it's just like, it's not like a simple thing you can do. Like, I'm going to stop paying for Netflix, or I'm going to,
Right.
buy a cheap 99-cent loaves of bread. I don't know. You can't just do that with where you live.
Yeah. And then so I'm 53, and I've thought about, like, and I'm an only child, and my dad is in this very unstable relationship himself, and I have a reactive dog and 2 cats.
Mm.
So there's like no real move in with someone options for me.
Yeah.
Like, worst case, I can't even think about it. Again, I'm like tearing up. Like, I can't even think about what the worst case scenario would be. Like, sometimes I think it's like doing the GoFundMe. Like, it's like, but then I feel guilty because this life that I created was created when I was making 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And like goods, not like low 6 figures, but still, like, and this lifestyle felt completely affordable at that time. Now, looking back, if I could take back the vacations and take back the impulse purchases and there's a lot I would take back in order to have more stability today. But also, I feel guilty about all of that. I would feel so guilty, like having my, like, handing, going hat in hand to like people. And I feel like it would be like opening up my life to judgment. And that feels really painful, right? And I've asked my dad for money, and that was really painful, especially because he said he would have, said no. And yeah, I guess I am getting emotional, like, and one of the reasons I started the podcast is because I didn't want to feel alone in it. And
it's a real struggle, and I think there's a real question about what do you do with that? Because you still have to create to make a living, and like, how hard is it to do that when just existence is such a challenge?
Well, something that has really changed my perspective. When I get sad like this, what I remember is I spent today, I had a writing group, and I went to an AA meeting. And then I wrote out a few pages of thoughts on the aesthetics of the Trump administration. Might be my next YouTube video. And that was so interesting to have an excuse to like sit around and write about the aesthetics of the Trump administration. And I'm going to get to do that later, probably. And what Colt talked about getting paid in time. And I just try to focus on, like, I really do get to do cool stuff. And it's a dangerous way to live.
Yeah. And it's because I feel like so many of our
I get to do cool stuff.
Yeah. So many of our conversations have revealed there's been a difficulty increase in how hard it is to make a living doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
Our industries have changed to that degree, you know, and we can, of course we question our own choices, and, it's easy to beat ourselves up about that, but I don't know if there's a way that we could have known the world we would end up in. I don't know if we could have predicted it.
Oh, well, a year ago, actually, yes. Like, I do think, like, with this Trump administration, I don't think I would have predicted it was this bad. But I feel like there was a part of me that understood very well. Again, it goes beyond it goes beyond 2024, that I do think that Trump 2 has been, like I've talked before, an extinction level event for journalism. This is extinction level event possibly for the arts. Like the taking away of ACA, subsidies and further weakening of ACA, like literally what's happening in schools and universities. Like, and when I say arts, I guess I include like writing, intellectually scholarly pursuits. Like this administration is undermining thought, undermining thoughtfulness, like and also beauty and joy. Like they're making it harder for people to produce things that are crafted in a way that I think is destructive to democracy. We've talked about this a little bit. I believe good art, good writing, good music, good video essays, like all of that, good scholarship, like strengthens us, and creates democracy it makes it more viable. And I think maybe thought about it, consciously or not consciously, like part of the project of the Trump administration is to isolate, atomize, undermine, there are attacks on all the sorts of marginalized people, making it harder for them to enter the arts and to create, right? Like people get priced out of our profession, like literally just, and I hate the fucking thing when people are like, well, if you really wanted to make art, you'd do it anyway. You'd be a starving artist, right? Not true.
I mean, previous guest, Jesse Thorne, I remember maybe this was 10, 15 years ago, talked about how they were ending their internship program at Maximum Fun because it was an unpaid internship. It was college credits, but he was basically going, the people who can afford to take an unpaid job, even if you're getting paid in college credits, there's a certain class of people who can afford that. And until they could figure out, and they've since now had to do paid internships, I believe. I haven't kept up with their business. We should have asked Jesse. I think that says it all right there. Like there's a certain ability, privilege that one has that is not about just hard work. It's not about being lazy. It's not about being strong-willed enough. It's just like, no, there are very real things that enable this for people to pursue more easily than others.
And then we have the government tech oligarch alliance that is heavily supportive of AI in the bad way. And we're all, the arts, as you put it, I think face that threat too.
Oh yeah. I include that. I totally include that. Like this part of this video essay I'm working on is talking about AI slop just a little bit. And how it's offensive to the eye. Like I think about that video of Trump literally dumping shit on protesters.
Yeah.
And that's not just ugly in a moral sense. That was ugly. That was like gross, like unpleasant, And there's something offensive about not having to try. That's the thing I keep circling back to. Is like the elevation of shit as it, literally, because they're so powerful, they don't even have to try to make something good. They don't even, it's not even like, and that devalues everything that we do. Like to say that it doesn't even have to be good. We're going to make money anyway. We're going to force it down your throats. We're going to force you to like, this was going to be the only choice you have.
Well, yeah, I've heard a lot of people too point out that so many of the conversations about like creating quote unquote with generative AI, it's so focused on the outcome, the end product, and not the act of creating. And that for a lot of business people, and this is probably unfair and oversimplified, but who are like, creators should love this. It's, you can do more. And it's just like, but it's taking away the act of writing, the act of producing, the act of songwriting. Like that is why a lot of us get into the things we do, is because we actually like the process, and the end result is also good, but we're not solely focused on that. And I think, something that Mary Robinette Kowal said was like trying to figure out a way to get paid to write and not being paid to have written. And with her Patreon, that was something she was able to accomplish, and that stuck with me. Is that like,
Same.
yes,
Me
like
too.
like being
I'm
an
trying
artist,
it. I'm gonna try it.
but being a quote unquote artist, it's one of the few fields where you don't get paid until you've finished. And I mean, I don't want to split hairs there. I'm sure we could get into a debate about, well, that's everyone works that way, but there is a difference versus like clocking in and clocking out.
Yeah, I also we should circle back at some point to the show and like why we keep doing it and what our goals are for it. And in some ways, maybe that this is a good segue, because the reason I will take responsibility / credit. This show was my idea, and I approached the two of you about it in part because what I realized is so many conversations I was having with my friends were about this stuff. And I wanted to get paid to have those conversations.
There you go.
And I also feel like there is a political project implicit there, right? Which is one of the things we talk about a lot, which is that I believe that community is one of the ways of resisting this. And we are, if I had to sort of talk about the ethos of the show or like the manifesto, like I think we are anti-hustle culture. Right. And we are like anti-maximizing, I don't know, maxing, like what they talk about, like productivity. Like, I think, and we are pro, solidarity, pro transparency. I do believe that when we are honest with each other about what we're going through, we create down the line incentives for sharing. I don't think I'm ever going to spend money the way that I used to, not just because I want to save more, but because I don't think I'm ever going to think I need as much as I used to need. And I want to share. This sounds corny, but like I want to hire people to help me do stuff. Like, we didn't talk about this with Mary Robinette, but when I was doing the math on it, like when she said she earned $9,000 a month at the Patreon, I did the math and I was like, all right, I could live on that. Woohoo! Yeah. I would live on it, and I would save, and I'd pay off my debts. And then I realized she said she has 3 staff. Didn't she say she has 3 people that works for her? And I'm like, oh wait, so she's not bringing in like $100,000 a year off that, Even like if she's doing funny tax stuff, because she can probably write everything off like I can. She's like paying people probably a pretty like decent amount. And that is what, like we talk about the goals for the show. If, I want to talk specific goals, but one of the things I want to do, if we start to make real money off this, I want to pay people. Like I want to pay people to help us make something.
Yeah.
And to go beyond just the show. For
showing up too.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we do is pay guests. That's the absolute first thing we would do after. We've got to think about what we would want ourselves because we deserve to get paid. But yeah, the first order is paying somebody. Then we can maybe take something off of your plate, Andrew, and like pay someone to do social. Like, this sounds so corny, but like, I want to be a job creator. Like, I want to be comfortable, but it's worth it. I think. I don't want to speak for everybody, but that's like my idea for the show and for my life.
100%. I mean, it's a, the more people that we can involve in, getting paid for their work, not only selfishly does it help us out, but it just creates a better world for us all to be in.
In this week's bonus segment, we're doing something a little different.
We asked ourselves the question, what's a piece of advice you've heard that you actually use?
Hear it now, along with ad-free episodes, extended cuts, and more over on our Patreon at patreon.com/pastdue.
And it helps us make this show.
Damn right. This episode is brought to you by Factor.
Cold days, big goals, absolutely zero interest in cooking? Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs.
No planning, no grocery math, no what did I buy this ingredient for?
I love that Factor has quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats.
And there's so much variety. Over 100 rotating meals every week, including the new Muscle Pro meals, if you're doing strength stuff.
And they support your diet, whether it's high protein meals, Mediterranean, whole ingredients, healthy fats, or more. Plus, there are no refined sugars or artificial sweeteners.
I've looked for something like this for a long time, and Factor really is the best.
It's good food that tastes great and is ready in about 2 minutes, always fresh, never frozen, no prep, and no stress. Head to factormeals.com/pastdue50off. That's 50 off. And use code PASTDUE50OFF to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year.
Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan. One free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active.
So good, so good, so good.
Spring styles are at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and they're up to 60% off. Stock up and save on Rag & Bone, Madewell, Vince, All Saints, and more of your favorites.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Why do we rack? For the hottest deals. Just so many good brands.
Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.
I mean, so should we get into the numbers? Like
Yes,
how,
we
like where
should.
we are and how far, you know, like what the goal level is, where we would need to be at, where we would ideally like to be at to hire people or pay guests. Like it seems
let's
like
do it.
we're sort of far away, but
Yeah, we
also
are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
so do you want me to dive into
Yep, go.
to them?
Go
All
into
right. So we have 3 main sources of income currently. We have Patreon. We have what's called programmatic ads. If you listen to the podcast, the non-ad-free version, and those are ones that we don't record, that are just automatically placed in.
Mhm.
And then we have ads that we're specifically hired to do the ad reads ourselves. So those are the 3 main pools. We have some opportunities for other stuff in the future that we can talk about. But so the smallest of those is the programmatic ads. And so so we started in May. Through the programmatic ads, we brought in just over $1,200 through programmatic ads.
And that's in the
is-
entire year. You got to be very clear.
Since May.
Made
That's
it
what
Since
December.
May.
Yeah.
So half of the year. And that's just based on, number of downloads. And I think we get around roughly 25,000 downloads a month.
Time out, because I want to explain to people that makes us incredibly popular. Like
Yeah,
for podcasts. I want people to understand that we are an example of, this show is an example of something that you might superficially look at and be like, oh, they got a podcast. It's, not top 10 ranked or anything, but like people listen.
Yeah. A few years ago, the numbers were, and I'm sure they've changed, but it's close enough that basically if you had 300 to 500 listens, you were in 90% of all podcasts. And then like the top 1% are in the hundreds of thousands. So basically with us getting that, we're in the top 10% of all podcasts.
Right.
So that's how popular it is. And the fact that we're making money also show like that people are advertising on us is a sign of
What
listening.
category are we in terms of how like podcast charts are
I will
separated?
so we're in 3 different categories: society and culture,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's everything from just like personal stories, essentially. And then we're also in arts, performing arts, and then we're also in business.
I think that's a great spread for us. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever. I mean, we're in some charts at some number, but we've never, that I've seen, been in like the top X number of in any of those categories.
Right.
Okay, so programmatic ads, we made about $1,200. The next tier up is that the ads that the companies have sponsored us, and now similar to what we've said, we have not yet been paid for these, and it may still be several months before we see those. So that's an additional $2,300. And then Patreon, we brought in just over $3,000. So of the money that we have been paid, it's about $4,500, $4,300 of the money that we have been paid for since 6 months of work. And then divided 3 ways is about $1,500 each.
So,
and I'm rounding, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a lot. Is this a good place to so we've earned about $250 a piece over the 6 months. Is that right?
No, $1,500.
More than that. Yeah.
But a month, a month.
Oh yeah.
So we've covered. That's for me. That's always like, okay, groceries. I got a few grocery trips out of that. So, do we want to hash out and not behind the curtain, like what we think is fair amount, like what would keep us going? When would we stop? Like that's actually a question too. It's like, when does it stop making sense to do this? So we don't have to tackle any of those, but
yeah, I mean, I can answer those. I mean, I've thought about this a lot because, I would say half of my jobs right now are similar type things. And then I have 1 or 2 like well-paying gigs that sort of, they cover everything else. So for me, and I've said this to both of you many times, like I really do love this show, and it is something. It's if it's not it's one of the like things I'm most proud of that I've worked on, and so there is an element of like, if I'm able to do this and it's not taking too much time, and I'm able to still make, I would go for as long as possible. But at the same time, we've talked about also wanting to pay ourselves as stuff. I think for me, the comfortable place would be making, $1,000 a month off of this.
Yeah.
And then anything above that obviously gives us more opportunity to do more with the show and or hire other people.
Quick question. You said the Patreon total is 3,000?
Yeah.
About how much is that a month?
It's just over right now it's just over 400 a month. There's a lot of like technical things, like we don't see all of it because if you subscribe through the app on Apple, like that gets held for 7 days. So right now we're at $476 a month. And
that's based on how many subscribers?
That is 73 paid subscribers. And then we have 200 total.
And I will pull back the curtain for my other stuff, which is for I am optimistic about us growing, in part because my sci-fi podcast, we have 250 paid subscribers, makes about $1,000, $800 to $1,000 a month, which is why I'm able to do that podcast, which is also why I feel like that's a good target for us. Although I don't want to, this is not a democracy. It's a consensus. But what I think about is if we could make $1,000 a piece a month, anything over that, I would start paying guests. That would be my thought. But Mike, if you want to come in with your no green M&Ms, like
so just first of all, the
level, we'd understand.
My own Patreon is 361 paid for about 1.67K a month. And so, I asked those questions based on, it looks like the easiest way to I wouldn't say the easiest way, but maybe the most practical way to think about getting us to $3,000 a month would be to add patrons.
Yeah.
But then again, I guess the question is too, like, how are we finding ad sales appetite for us as a show, Andrew? Like, you're dealing with all of that. Like,
it's growing. It's definitely. So how it works is we'll get like a message saying this brand has X number of dollars to spend on a marketing campaign. We actually don't know what the money is, but your show fits the criteria where they might be interested in sponsoring your show. Are you okay with this brand? You know, and there's some we've said no to, and some we've said, yeah, we'd love to do it with them. And so then the ad company basically, or the ad sales company basically gives all those information to the buyer, and they say yes or no, or yes or no. So the amount of requests to be submitted we've gotten has, I would say, it doubles every month. So it started with maybe 1 every 3 months to then 1 every month to then 2 to, I think I can pull it up right now. I think we're in consideration for like 7 right now. And of those, we have 2 that have come through. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah. So I think and from the company that we work with who sells ads on our behalf has said, like, for a show our size, we're doing very good with like both the interest from advertisers and the sort of follow through that they're seeing.
So if you were to think, if I were to ask you, what do you think the easiest pathway or between the two of those, between concentrated push to increase patrons versus sort of keep doing what we're doing and let the ad stuff come in, like, what do you see as the most practical pathway to growth?
I think Patreon is the most practical, but I think any path would still incorporate both.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And I think the thing that we could all do better is, for lack of a better word, marketing of the show. And that's more than just posting about an episode, which does great, but like
it's not gonna increase things in a significant way.
It is. It's just it's a marathon versus.
Well, and that's what I mean when I say increase significantly. I mean, like, it's not going to spike things, because a lot of what we're doing is showing clips to the same people who already are aware.
Yeah, but like, if you look at our Patreon, every month we've earned more money. If you look at our ad sales, every month we're getting more of those. You know, if you look at our download numbers, every month we're getting more. So we are growing. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And this is where it gets into sort of the mystic arts of marketing and promotion, you know, where it's like you can hear 20 great ideas and what actually works. And this is why there are companies that are professional marketers, because they seem to know the secret alchemy sometimes. Sometimes it's pay to play.
And I will add that this is another way that this show is itself an example of the ways that creative economy is broken, and also how making it work. And also the kinds of people that are drawn to this, which is that the 3 of us love doing this show. We do not love promoting it or ourselves. Like, I mean, I think we've talked about this. Like, I know I could promote both myself and the show more, but to do more than just like, here's cool stuff that I do. Like, I love doing that. Here's cool stuff that I do. That I like, and I like posting about it. And I like talking about it. But to do some kind of like intentional, concentrated marketing, like, and also like asking people to like, can you blurb this? Can I be on your podcast? Like, that is a lot harder. Like, Mike, you talked about asking Fantagram and Future Islands about opening for them. Like, and that was kind of, like a little bit of a thing you had to prompt yourself to do. That's the way I feel about active marketing campaigns.
And to paint the picture for me, I am constantly promoting things, and because so many of my endeavors, like especially stuff like, selling vinyl or promoting shows, so making sure tickets are sold, so much of that is on me and my constant promotion, not even just through social media. I'm like constantly doing email blasts, like promoting everything on my Twitch. And with those other endeavors too, I'm often exhausted just by the act of doing it.
Yeah.
But I face constant pressure from the people I'm in business with on those other things to always be doing it more. So I just always feel behind. Just constantly always feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm not promoting enough. And I'm still trying to figure out like how to not go crazy around that. Like that's I feel like I'm doing some damage to myself somehow by constantly feeling like I have to punch this promote button all the time.
It's something we kind of tongue-in-cheekly say, but also seriously about the shows. Like everyone has to have 6 jobs now.
Yeah. And all of mine are very front-facing.
And these are things like I was kind of getting at, like marketing is a job that you can pay someone to do.
Right.
Or it's something that you also have to do yourself on top of the actual thing you're creating on top of 3 other things.
So, and I just say all that to say the difference with me is not that I don't want to do it. It's just I feel constantly fucking overwhelmed by doing it all the time.
Yeah, and I guess that's another part of it, which is that like I do the part of the marketing that I feel like can do, which is often just look at this cool thing that I did. Right? More than that, like I mean it's a slightly different situation because I'm stuck in this mode of thinking that I can make it as a freelance writer. And as I've kind of been deciding, and Mary Robinette like keeps coming up, but she did kind of rock my world, which is that I have to change my entire business model.
Same here.
For what I am doing, because the idea of getting paid to write, as in to write a piece, to turn in a piece, I'm not sure if that's just ever going to work anymore for me. Like my workshops were working until this past workshop. Half the people that usually sign up. I'm going to hope that that's was just the shock and awe of the Trump administration, and maybe that'll pick back up. But newsletters are actually another form of it. Actually getting paid to write newsletters are not that different from freelancing. I mean, someone's paying you to produce, and I think I need to think more about the coaching / workshops, and also doing the videos. You're getting paid for people seeing it, which is different than getting paid to write.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually more sustainable. I was thinking about this a lot because I've been watching like Big Joel videos from 4 years ago and still finding them very insightful, and like thinking about how often do people go back and read my articles that are 4 years old. And if I can make like a good video about like the aesthetics of the Trump administration, like people might watch that for a while. Like that's going to be durable in a way that if I write a magazine article about it, how durable is that? Like how many, I mean, I feel like this relates back to what you were saying, Mike. But it is, I guess maybe it doesn't, except I just think about like, I've thought of myself as needing to promote myself to be a name that people will hire. And now I need to think about promoting myself as the content producer that people just want to pay for content.
Right. The talent.
Like the talent.
Yeah.
And I think I've resisted that. And writing is not actually the thing that people, this is just demonstrably true. People don't pay for journalism. People will pay for videos. You can put ads on videos. I would love to continue to write, but it's what I'm good at. But yeah, I don't know. Pivoting to video, man.
Highly recommend. I'm really looking forward to watching your stuff. Like, I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but
I'm going to post my Olivia Nuzzi video after we get done with this conversation, actually, and I'll send it to you. And then I do think I'm going to do this thing about the aesthetics of the Trump administration, which I would like I said, if I reframe my life a little bit, I can look at it as I'm going to get to spend a few hours today making a video about something I think is interesting, right? Like, that's probably more fulfilling than other stuff that I could be doing. Does it pay less? A lot less /0. And I'm talking to y'all. So
you will be retroactively paid for this. It won't be much, but
yeah, I'm gonna get my $50.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's some other potential ways to sort of monetize and make money from the show that I think would be interesting to talk about and to hear feedback from the listeners. Along those lines too, leave a comment if you've made it this far into the episode.
I'm sure they're fucking riveted.
I think we should start releasing long videos too, Andrew.
I know. So. I got to get the YouTube stuff we got to figure out. Speaking of, we should hire a video editor.
I've got somebody.
The ones that come out of Riverside, do they need that much editing?
Yeah, I mean, it's more just a time thing, honestly, because the things we do, like recording the intros and outros and adding music and stuff like that, and sometimes we move things around. It's just it's not impossible.
Right.
But
okay, I see. But right, like the raw product that comes out of Riverside would need a lot.
Is not attention. What we release to the listeners. But so I don't know if there's a huge demand for Past Due merch, but if we get a groundswell of people asking us, that's another thing we can potentially look into. And then
I got a merch company too, so we can.
So
that's easy. That's very easy if we want to do that.
If 100 of you want a Past Due shirt, there's a little bit of money in that. But then we've also been approached to, and I don't know if we should talk about this or not, but there's potentially some interest in a Past Due book.
Which I will, again, as I've shared with y'all, the publishing side of that, we would not make a lot of money on the book. It would be something we could sell to possibly make money. And it's a nice calling card to have. And I haven't mentioned this before, but we could get a good round of publicity out of it.
Yeah.
And that could be
it's a lot of work.
A significant
and they could market.
So that's the market. Right. The book would market the podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like we would get a round of publicity. Like we could be booked on other shows or podcasts, and we get to talk about that podcast, and it might be more profitable as a thing to funnel people to the podcast than it would be in and of itself.
So there's a lot of interesting stuff. All that to be said, this is
live
not
shows.
The end
we also talked about live shows.
Yes, live shows. So this is not the end of Past Due by any means. At least in the time being.
Oh, I mean, we weren't. Was that on the table?
No. Well, you said like, how much is it worth still going?
Oh,
none of us were like, tomorrow this is the last episode. But I think for most of us, we want to see this out, and we want to see this be successful. So we're willing to put in the time to grow this, and hopefully it grows sooner than later.
Yeah, and I think specifically us asking Andrew what the numbers look like for him is so important, just with the sheer amount of time that it takes for him to do all of this stuff. And so, yeah, like we're not talking about ending this today, but I do think this is great to make sure the listeners are aware of, like, that this is something that we encourage people to actively support if they want it to continue to exist, because it's not the sort of thing that's like corporate funded and it's just going to be around whether people are supporting it or not. Like we need people to help this exist. So, for whatever that's worth to folks, subscribe to the Patreon and let us know what you think about these ideas.
I want to add one more thing, which is that we should mention the problem with programmatic ads is we got the ICE ads.
And a lot of people did, like a lot of different types of shows. Because that's the thing, like the programmatic ads. Who do we publish our podcast through, Andrew?
So it's Megaphone.
Megaphone, right? So my all of my podcasts are on my podcast network, also published through Megaphone, and there's a box you can click if you want programmatic ads, which are automatically attached to the beginning, and they have ways you can funnel what categories you don't want. But I don't think they had ICE as a category.
Well, they had it as jobs. They had it, and that's how it got through to a lot of people. And also, like, we would come to us kind of almost automatically. Like, it's because one of the reasons I was hopeful for this podcast to be able to get some commercial interest is actually because we aren't listed under politics. And we are in the jobs/business category, but that as a jobs/business category podcast, the ICE ads for people trying to recruit people to work for ICE, like, of course they showed up in a way. And a lot of people were really angry, and thank God. And
understandably so. But, you know, I hope it's clear to people that that's not something that we were ever endorsing at all. And we were able to shut that down going forward, correct?
Yeah, so essentially there was such a loud complaint from multiple shows and stuff that essentially the ad just, took the ad down from the advertising company stopped accepting that as an ad from them, or switched it category to like political or something. I don't know. But because I'm sure, as Anna says, there's no ethical anything under
there's no ethical
capitalism.
Consumption or capitalism. There's no ethical production under capitalism.
And even within that, I hope that the audience trusts that we're doing our best to make sure that everything that we're presenting is in alignment with our values.
Yeah, and we appreciate the people who contacted us about it, because we don't always how the programmatic ads work too is the ad you get may be completely different than the ad I get too.
True.
It's it's not too dissimilar from an ad on YouTube or an ad on traditional TV. There are national campaigns and there are local campaigns. And so by letting us know that we sort of found out at the same time our audience did. Thankfully, the company that represents us reached out to us and told us, hey, this happened. Here's what we're doing to stop it. And so had that not happened, had they not found out, you would have been the first line for us to know. So thank you in that regard.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
I think people should also feel free. This is ask us anything kind of stuff. Like, we'll do this again. We want to be very, very transparent about how much we're making, about how we're feeling about doing the show. Transparent about where our money goes. Like right now, it's just going to pay us for what we can. And we, if you value this, we hope that you can contribute. I always feel weird asking, because I know everyone, $5 a month adds up. And it's impossible to support every creator that you want to support. So if I had to justify it to people, I would say we are a force multiplier, that our goal is to have artists on that we can elevate and help them get more support. We are about, so that's my pitch for why us over the many other worthy causes, including Mike and I's individual Patreons. I don't know. I guess, you know what? I don't know. I mean, pick one and then listen to everything there. Like, get subscribers up for everything. Pick one to give money to, and then make sure you subscribe to everything. And buy, use the
promo codes and
codes.
things.
Yeah, use the promo codes.
And there's different value propositions for, I think, all the things that we all offer. But I think specifically, if you're listening to this and you're getting some out of this, we would appreciate your support. You know, it literally means everything to us. It means continued existence.
Thank you.
Stop doom scrolling. Start decoding the tech, rewiring your week and your world. The Interface is the BBC's fiercely informed, fast, and funny take on how technology is changing everything.
Hosted by journalists Tom Germain, Karen Howe, and Nikki Wolf, each episode unpacks week by week the unfolding story of how technology is shaping all our futures. No guests, no jargon, just 3 sharp voices debating the tech news stories that matter, whether they shook a government, broke the internet, or quietly tipped the balance of power.
As TikTok shifts geopolitics, Trump drives digital shockwaves, Elon Musk expands his space internet empire, and AI reroutes the routines of everyday life, the trio asks, what world are the tech titans building for us? And do we want to live in it?
Find The Interface from the BBC wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes it feels like red and blue states are just as divergent as post-World War II East and West Germany. So what can the US learn from German political history in order to create a more perfect union? Find out on the new season of The Future of Our Former Democracy, the Signal Award-winning podcast from More Equitable Democracy and Large Media, hosted by me, Colin Cole, and Heather Villanueva. It's time to rethink democracy. So follow The Future of Our Former Democracy wherever you get your podcasts.